Precisei sair pra poder voltar, ver o tempo bem fechado, pra ver o dia clarear, pra ver o céu no azul do mar. Precisei perder pra poder ganhar muito tempo bem calado, pra que eu conseguisse falar coisas que alguém vai escutar. Um dia você verá que um sorriso e uma companhia.
There's no reason to do that when you have enough fabric for your strips to 90 because
We didn't do this all the time.
so the block above this will.
I'll show you mine. This was
Okay. They make their machines totally different setups. Some days are just like that. Yeah, they have that way too tight. So anyways, just looks out. I always look to make sure there's no dust under it, because if you had a thread break off, when this goes in, it can only go in one way. So when you pop it back in, do you see this little arrow there? It's solid. And then you can do the other. When I go to lay this down, number one, what you have, it says lay the ribbon piece face down. Okay? So you're seeing down here, you can slide the pins up. Okay, so for doing a bobbin, and this is your little diagram, tells you you're going to come out around this thing, okay? And then, if you look at your bobbin, do you see there's a hole in here? Yes. Okay, run your thread up through that hole, so you have tail. Make sure that's to the left, and when I push this down, it goes all the way down. Okay, use this button. You just this piece. So the foot, stretch from the front, okay? There's this. There's also set. Like this is needed to my and the end's coming in to make the finish perfect. She's got this thing was 15 rock stitch. I use the drafting. This is row number one. Okay. So that's what you need to do. And show you how to do it. Okay. And this open end, you're going to lay down, kind of open end, turn it over, because I know where my 1/4 inch is, and I start here, stitch down right off the end. And that connects that then, so this one is all done then. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this over, 2 1/4 run right down that seam. And you see how this one sits right on top of that one? And then I see, okay, where does that line line up? And you asked me this to be perfect. I just find 2 more spools of already worked over. And Anglican Church to see if they did evening prayer. And I would go, Brenda. Well, my ruler, and I will go based on this seam that's here.
Very nice job right away, and
And so
saxophones at every hour. Who hasn't heard of me now? Then will I have had enough of trying to keep myself real tough? Will I ever settle down, steady even when it gets loud? When will it ever be enough? Ever be enough? Ever be enough? When will it ever be enough? Ever be enough? Ever be enough? If only I could find a way to put an angel on your shoulder, tell you true things every day. By the time you get older, I just wanna go out and walk with you. Baby, you know I just like to talk with you. You don't have to tell me anything that's new. I just wanna go out and walk with you. just wanna see your shadow next to mine, sailing over pavement with our two outlines. I like to see the shape you're in from time to time. I just wanna see your shadow next to mine. I just wanna see the same things you can see, understand the meaning on a new degree. Maybe that could happen when you're next to me. I just wanna see the same things you can see. I just wanna go out on a walk with you. Could be 20 minutes or an hour or two. Baby, you know I just like to talk with you. I just wanna go out on a walk with you.
You think we're going too fast? No, we're good. Wait, why have you
I feel the wind coming. Okay, tell it towards you a little bit, Lily. I feel the wind.
Strawberry.